Hello again, Struck. Today I'm bringing you a video about Space Punks. What the Struck is Space Punks? My first impressions of the early access after spending several hours in the game. And I say that you can sum up the game as if Borderlands and Alien Shooter had a threesome with Path of Exile, Space Punks will be the resulting child. Space Punks is an isometric shooter-wooter action RPG that takes inspiration from and adapts elements of various genres such as the shooter-wooter genre, the twin-stick shooter genre, and even isometric hack and slash and ARPGs. So you can see inspiration from the games I mentioned, Borderlands, Alien Shooter, and things like Path of Exile, Chaos Bane, Last Epoch. You can see some similarities there. I've mentioned those specific games for a specific reason. The equipment is where I see similarities with Borderlands, especially the shield items. The passive skill tree reminds me kind of Chaos Bane, Last Epoch, WoW and Path of Exile, while the aesthetics of the game give off Alien Shooter vibes. And for better or for worse, the game is created by some of the minds behind the RuneScape games. And this unfortunately is evident by the completely unnecessary and out of place MMO design that some of the game's features, such as the daily and weekly rewards, the contracts, are made. The game is still in early access, so it's not too late to make a 180 and get rid of the FOMO, which means fear of missing out, login zombie DNA, and replace it for something more suitable for a co-op wooter instead of an MMORPG. For the story, without spoiling or revealing too much, we are Pathfinders. You have 4 heroes and each of those is a Pathfinder that's supposed to clean out the universe, the Horde space. The Horde space is described as once a mysterious, heavily guarded star cluster. It's now home to wretched hives of scum and villainy. So there's 2 planets with 2 more in the works, there's 2 more activities, and we're basically clearing those. More about those things in a later segment where I talk about the map and the missions. The game adapts the isometric camera angle that we're used to from iconic hack and slash ARPGs like Diablo and Path of Exile, but it is also a shooter-wooter with a wide arsenal of plasma guns, miniguns, shotguns, electro beams, and other weapons that can be used alongside a variety of melee weaponry, such as katanas, hammers, and others. Each hero also has 4 class-specific abilities that get unlocked at levels 1, 4, 7, and 13. 2 of those abilities can also be upgraded. For example, the first at levels 20 and 35, the second at 27 and 43. And there may not be any mix and matching of those skills, because all heroes can use all of their abilities once everything's unlocked, but combining the 4 abilities with the various ranged and melee weaponry will provide interesting combos and playstyles. And considering the various types of shields, trinkets, and shells, which is the healing and health boosting items, the ways one can play their hero grows some more. Here are the 4 heroes, the 4 playable character classes. We have Duke, we have Ares, Bob, and Finn. Duke is kind of like a guy with who launches grenades, as you can see. He synergizes well with Bob and Finn. He has some interesting abilities. Right now I can show you more hero skins, but there's this one. And yeah, there's a little bit of backstory here. You can read more on the website or on my website. I think with some of that backstory. You can see he has less than half of the HP field, a little bit more than half on the shield side, and in movement he's a little bit more than half of it. Now here's Ares. She has kind of similar movement but much less shield, but more HP than Duke. She has some sort of impaling ability, synergizes well with Duke, and Bob. And I'm wondering why Duke doesn't say he synergizes with Ares, but it says Ares synergizes with Duke. Kind of weird how they've done that. You can see she has spine blades, kind of interesting, and nanobot frenzy, which is an interesting ability as well. Now we're moving on to Bob. I played this hero first. He has again the same movement. I think everyone has the same movement except Finn. He has much less shield, kind of like Ares, and the same HP as Ares. And he's kind of like a summoner. He has a turret, and he has mines, and he has a drone. So I think he would be a fun hero to start for solo players, but in general you would always want to be playing with others. This game is designed in such a way, although I could solo hardcore, the hardest difficulty on some of the missions, as early as like level 3-4, something like that. Now let's move on to Finn. Finn, you see, he has something called swine magnetism, pulls enemies to you, so he's gonna be the tanky guy. He has decent HP, not as much defense, and not that great mobility, but that's not true, because his movement skill, his dodge roll, is actually him sprinting. Whereas the others, for example, Bob has 3 charges of dodge roll that recharge over time. This guy has a running bar, which he used to sprint super quickly for a while, which can then recharge again. He has also Rocket Rain and Berserk Blessing. Now let's talk about equipment, I mean gear and gear score. Here is the vault. You access the vault, and that allows you to see your character and the things you can equip. You have a ranged weapon, a melee weapon, a trinket, something that I'm not sure what they classify it as, but I'm gonna call it shell/skin, and a shield, with the 6th item as work in progress. So from the 6 pieces of equipment, 5 are already in the game, the 6th they're still working on. So for ranged weapons, I've tested shotguns, there's miniguns, there's this laser, not laser, but electric chain lightning kind of gun that you charge as a beam kind of thing, and this plasma sniper, it's amazing. It's my favorite out of all of them. It shoots slowly, but it shoots such a nice long range AoE straight piercing wine projectile. It's amazing. And as you've noticed something, there are some things called mods in the game, and if you inspect, you would see this one has a stunning mod, this one has a critical chance mod. If we look at this katana or whatever, this slice, it has a damage mod, a lifesteal mod, and a critical multiplier mod. So there are mods on items, and the only place where I haven't seen a mod are the trinkets. So I've seen mods on that type of equipment, I've seen mods on that type of equipment, and on the 2 types of weapons, but not on trinkets. Maybe I'm wrong, but I believe that trinkets don't get mods. And it's gonna be interesting trying to get the right mods on the right item base, and I would say here is where we need some quality of life. And maybe it exists, maybe I just don't know about it, but we would need a system that lets us reroll the mods on an item, or take mods from one item and put them on another of the same type, or take mods and just put them kind of like Outriders did it, unlock those mods to use forever and stuff like that. I mean, every item, as you can see, has 4 mod slots. So I don't see a reason why they wouldn't want to further expand the system and make it like Outriders, when once you've salvaged, scrapped an item with a certain mod, that mod gets unlocked and you can equip it on any other item of the same type where this mod can be applied. Now there's another thing, which is the gear shop. And the gear shop will refill every now and then with items kind of close to your total power level. So the average power level is the average sum of the power levels of your equipped items, and this one would decide the power level of the items from the gear score. Here I would love to see an option to pay gold to reroll once every hour or once every X minutes or whatever, to reroll the items in the store so they can offer you something new if you don't like what you're seeing, something like that. So yeah, there are some things that I would love to see. And I think the rarities of items are white, green, blue, and then I think it goes purple, and after that orange / yellow or whatever. I think that's how it goes. Now let's quickly mention about materials and crafting. As you can see in the vault where the gear is, there is a materials tab, and there are, as you can see as well, 5 types of materials: blueprints, components, software, hardware, and talent items. Talent items are kind of like Path of Exile's jewels that you can place in jewel slots in the passive skill tree. So it's gonna be items that give you certain passive bonuses, like this one that gives me ranged and melee damage of almost 10%, that you can put in those slots as long as you have unlocked those slots by spending a talent point on those slots. Hardware are small mods that affect the performance of crafted items. Software, additional software to enhance crafted items, so crafting components. Components are physical parts used to make weapons and other equipment, and blueprints are needed. They're schematics needed to craft items that get consumed. A warning there: once you craft with the blueprint is destroyed. You can't use it endlessly. You can use it as many times as the amount of copies you have of the blueprint. And this is the crafting system. Right now I don't have a blueprint to show you, but it's very simple. You click here on blueprint, then there's gonna be here a list of the blueprints. You click the blueprint, and then at the bottom you will see the components needed to craft the item. And here comes the fun part. Let's talk about skills and talents. Every hero has their own 4 abilities, as we mentioned, and you unlock those abilities at levels 1, 4, 7, and 13, and then you can unlock upgrades that modify and change the behavior of the first ability at 20 and 35, and for the second ability at 27 and 43. You can see the max level seems to be level 60, which will take some grinding, but not that much. It's not that terrible in terms of maxing out. And that seems okay, but it feels a little bit lackluster to only have 4 abilities. I would like to see them expanding the abilities, and yes, keeping it 4 equipped abilities at once, but allowing people to mix and match. So if they add another set of 4 abilities, it would be better. Even if they add 2 more abilities, it will still force people into making choices. Okay, I have 6 abilities. Which 4 do I take? Which 2 do I not take? But maybe there's the negative aspect of feeling bad that you're not taking some skills. So I guess that's why they probably decide to stop with 4. And since they're probably thinking of porting the game to consoles and they don't want too many hotkeys, probably. The time will tell, but let's go to the best part of the game, in my opinion, the most potential, the talent tree. You can see the talent tree has 3 main paths: soldier's path, scavenger's path, survivor's path. And we can assume you're gonna have 50 something talent points at level 60. Right now I have 3 talent points at level 6. Maybe I don't know how many levels you need to get a point, but you will see there's a lot of work in progress. In fact, probably 60-65% of this talent tree is work in progress. And you can see those are the empty talent item slots, those hexagon looking things. So in those slots you can place those items I mentioned in the crafting and materials segment. You have to slot them there, but it has to be the right type. So soldiers goes into soldiers, survivors go into survivor, and the scavenger goes into scavenger slot. And you can see there's all sorts of things, like for example here you have range damage, melee damage, range crit, melee crit. Then you have more range damage, then you have something that's like a triggered talent, so a proc, which stacks up to 10 times and has a time active duration of 5 seconds. Then there's range crit chance, fire rate, and so on. There's another trigger talent. Then here we have things like movement speed, stamina again, magazine size, range, magazine size, sprint speed, which is not movement speed but sprint speed when you're actually sprinting. Then there's stamina again, time active for a triggered talents, and so on. And on this side there's max HP, max shield, shield regeneration. Then there's this max shield again, a triggered talent, shield regeneration, cooldown reduction, passive talent. So there are good things. And this Q3 has the most potential in the whole game. And I can't wait to see how it is when it's finished, but they have to be very careful, because it's very easy to fuck up a game by badly balancing the passive talent tree. Now let's talk maps and mission types. As I mentioned, right now there's 2 planets and 2 side activities. You have Stopan, which has all sorts of different missions that you unlock as you go through the main story, as you complete certain things, as you unlock certain power levels and fame levels, and you get various rewards. For example, this one rewards weapons, this one rewards some sort of materials, crafting materials and gold, I mean minerals or whatever this one is called. This one is available only for a short duration, then it will disappear and you would have to wait before it reappears. This one as well. You can see this one offers green items, this one offers white items, and so on. And then there's the second planet, which right now I only have 1 mission available. That's actually my main mission, that's why it gives me more fame. But there's a bunch more. And then there's shooting stars. It says one of the many challenges that are part of the reality show, where you can force other participants. So yeah, it's, I guess, something, some sort of interesting, weird mode. I haven't tested it yet, but I will test it in a few days when I stream this game. Then there's Heist. It says you must gather your party before venturing forth. These missions are too hard for a single mercenary. So this would be the co-op thingy, the one that probably even with min-max builds would be hard to solo if you're pushing equal power level content. So that's kind of it for now. There's 2 more planets that they're working on. When they're ready, I can't wait to see those as well. But that's it for variety. There are different types of missions though. There's payload missions, there's escort a robot that has to fix something, so you have to escort it as a payload, but then you have to defend it while it's repairing. Then there's missions where you just need to eliminate a bunch of enemies, or missions where you just need to destroy some sort of generators, and there's all sorts of different missions, and I like that. It's not always the same thing, kill monsters, kill boss, leave. It's different. Now there is something else the game offers, and it's called tasks, and tasks are like optional side quests you can take that asks you, for example, to kill certain monsters or to finish different jobs, which is missions, and eventually they reward you things like fame, like those minerals, money, which is the coins, and some wood boxes, wood item gear thingies. Now there is another thing to mention. It's called Fame Road to Glory. And fame, as you have probably guessed, is something that you get from completing missions and quests. And at certain thresholds of fame, you unlock certain rewards. Kind of like a battle pass, but a free version. Kind of similar to the contracts of Torchlight 3, but without the infinitely repeatable things after it's finished. And you can see there's a lot of things and rewards to grind, they're all one-shots. From what it seems, they're all one-shot, one-time rewards. And now let's talk about another thing, and it's the trophies. And there, as you can see in the middle of the screen, it says work in progress. Trophies are kind of like challenges, and those challenges, as you complete them, you can claim rewards, and those rewards are cosmic dust. And cosmic dust is a premium currency, as it's written, allows you to buy cosmetic items and utilities in the premium store. What they mean by premium is unclear. Are they gonna get a cash shop with in-game currency where people can buy cosmic dust for cosmetic items, or is it going to be only earned through trophies? I don't like the word premium. It's very misleading. People might think that there's going to be a cash shop where you pay real money to get cosmic dust to unlock costumes, which is not terrible, but I'd rather not have it. But if they really are forced to sell cosmetics, that's not the worst thing that could happen. As long as they don't sell anything else that is not cosmetic, then it might go well with the majority of players. Although on a buy-to-play game, to squeeze people for money for cosmetics, it doesn't sit well with a lot of people either. Now, a quick mention of the premium store, of the cosmetic store, which is still not ready. It says under new management, grand reopening soon in the game. So basically you can buy things like skins, avatars, starts, emotes, dashes, attachments, companions. Right now this is work in progress, it's not finished, but eventually we'll be buying that with the currency you earn from trophies. Pretty simple system. Time will tell when it's ready what it will be, and if there's gonna be any more ways to earn cosmic dust or just the trophies. And I've saved the worst for last in a way. This is the contract system. This is where the game becomes utterly disgusting with its fear of missing out MMO DNA mechanics. Where you have daily contracts and weekly contracts, which are like small missions that you have to complete every day, and they're random probably every day, so you can get a bunch of wood and a bunch of other rewards for each mission. And when you finish all of them, you get that chest here you can see. And then there's a weekly search, again the same mechanic. I don't like this. It has no room in games like this. In fact, it shouldn't even exist in MMOs, but in MMOs people are willing to let it slide. It's obvious that the developers of this game are MMO developers, but it's not obvious why they thought it would be a good idea to put such a system in such a game that is not an MMO. It just out of place. It's bad. I've given a lot of games flack. For example, Magic Legends. One of the main reasons I couldn't enjoy the game as much as I thought I will was exactly the same type of bullshit that they had there with the daily, weekly stuff. But yeah, I hope they rework this. It's not too late. The game has just barely entered early access. There's time to rework it. They're clever people, they're creative people. They can think of something else, something that doesn't make you log in every day, but rather gives you like 2-3 months of time to finish certain things, to unlock certain things like costumes, cosmetics, etc. I'm not gonna try and tell them what to add. I'm just gonna tell them that this is not good and they need to think of ways to replace it with something that actually is a good fit for the game. And now at the end, I would like to list the pros and cons from my personal point of view based on my own taste. As pros, I would list the beautiful skill effects, animations, art and environment and so on. Visually the game is stunning, I like it. It's not next gen super heavy demanding of your machine, but it looks beautiful and it's nicely shaded and designed. Then there's nice sound effects, befitting music. worth mentioning that. Then there's an attractive wood system, which, as I mentioned, needs some quality of life improvements. The passives tree has a lot of potential, but it's still work in progress, so hopefully they don't fuck up this one. The crafting system is there, I like that, but it again also needs some quality of life improvements. Then there's a decent amount of activities and mission types. It's very diverse, so I like that too. And then there's a gear shop, which I also enjoy, and it could use some changes there as well. And then worth mentioning, free full respects of your passive skill tree. Big ups for this one. Now on to the cons. Atrocious fear of missing out daily weekly contract system. Then lack of quality of life for the gear and crafting systems, as I mentioned. Again, this is something that during early access should be fixed. There's no option to pay to restock the gear store, which again I mentioned would be nice. And so far very small enemy diversity. But I'm assuming once you go and do different missions, higher power missions, there would be more enemies. And only 4 abilities per hero seems like a little too little to me. Maybe some people like it, but I would like to see more skills added with the option to decide which ones you take and which ones you don't. Or items that completely change the animation and behavior of a certain skill. To the point where it's kind of like a completely new skill. And that's pretty much it for my pros and cons. I hope you've enjoyed this short summary. To get notified when I upload more content for this game or other games like this one, which would be wooters of all varieties, isometric, third-person ARPGs, wooter shooters and all sorts of wooters like that, you could subscribe to my channel and hit that bell button to not miss out on my content updates. And optionally, you can even join as a member of the Struck Club on YouTube as a channel member to get access to exclusive perks such as special emotes custom made by me, special badges custom made by me that represents how many months you have been a member for, as well as opt-in of editing tutorials that I can give for Photoshop, Adobe Premiere, as well as shoutouts and things like that. And I would like to use this part of the video to thank all my YouTube members and Twitch subscribers. Thank you for supporting the channel and keeping me going. Thank you also for watching this video, everyone. Keep it cool, Struck Club. Until next time, and goodbye.